Hi, how are you? I'm good, thanks for asking. It's a beautiful day. I've talked to my wife yesterday and I had a awakening yesterday about my past while I was a nurse. And I'll try and explain it. The thing is about myself, I got run over when I was 5 as a child, and I'll do another video about this, but it left me. I was in hospital for 7 weeks, and when I went back to school, um, I found all the children hard to relate to until I sort of settled in again. But I was always honest. I was just a 5-year-old that was honest about everything. But I found all the kids were using sarcasm and yeah, they seemed to be more sophisticated than I was. Anyway, I grew up, went through school, which I settled in again and got through it okay, and it was fine. And I went to work in some places and I got on okay. I worked at Butlins and some shops like Asda and stuff like that. And then I got this idea that I wanted to be paramedic, but I'd already got diabetes by that point, so that wasn't an option. So I worked in a nursing home for a while, for a year, I think, and I decided I was going to be a general nurse. And then one of the nurses said, "You'd be better at mental health nursing. You've got much better skills for that. You're really good in certain ways." So I did my training in 96, in fact 93, sorry, through to 96. And once I got my first job, I discovered certain things quickly about the team. I would say that 80% of the team was a mixed bag of people, different intellects, different empathy, kindness, all those types of things, low self-esteem, good self-esteem, all those things. What I would say was they were human. But there was 20%, they were what I would call low-grade sociopaths. And they had fragile egos and probably lacked identity. But what the nursing profession gave them was a sense of identity. And the trouble with this is they take the job very seriously. They become the person that works for the NHS, and they are a nurse, and that's foremost in their life. And they tend to be sort of soulless, but good actors. Now, the job is very important to them, so I'll explain the dynamics. If you've got a sense of humour and you like a bit of fun, like me, remember I'd worked at Butlins, so that seemed to suit me very well, Butlins. Anyway, if someone's not taking the job very seriously, they're cracking jokes, black sense of humour, it might appear that they're not taking the job seriously. And this goes down very badly with these low-grade sociopaths who take the job very seriously and their identity. So they will try and put you, what I discovered was they tried to put you in your place. And if that didn't work, they had to try other tactics. So they would report you for something you may or may not have done. And when that failed, to bring you down, bring that your upbeat, happy personality down. I'm talking about stuff like having wheelchair races and matching the X-rays to the patient and stuff like that. But anyway, while I had most of the staff on my side in terms of we got on well on a level, and it was a good experience. There was a couple of people on the first job that decided to make my life very difficult. One of them actually did the rota, so I found myself rotated with them every single shift. Anyway, so I moved on a couple of jobs, and I found that this general dynamic was present in all the jobs, to the point where really, by the time I got about 2000, my last job, I left in about I left the NHS in 2018, I think. I was in an office full of these low-grade sociopaths who, if they couldn't control you, they'd destroy you. And ultimately, I was made so unhappy that I eventually decided to leave. And that includes the soulless managers that decided they didn't. This is another story as well. I wasn't compliant in terms of certain things. I didn't agree with certain policies that were changing or management styles, and I felt bullying was becoming quite prominent within the nursing teams. So I left. But if we come to today, I would say that we are living in a low-grade sociopath world, and if you're outside of that personality type, you're probably alone a lot, and you don't feel you've got to be careful. Now, what I realized yesterday was, coming back to the beginning, because of my experience as a child, I think I never really was interested or bothered in changing my interface with other people depending on the situation. By that I mean I was the same at home, same in my marriage, same as I was at work, same as I was out and about with friends. Now, most people used to appreciate my directness and trust me. I've always been regarded as quite a trustworthy person, honest person. But the number of people who've changed since social media came in and everything else, that they seek identity through something artificial, and they have all these other qualities that what they place as valuable is appearance, storytelling, acting, money, and they don't seem to have much of a sense of identity. But if you're a free thinker, they will bring you down. Whatever tactics they can, they will bring you down, because they now belong to this society of phone users and COVID specialists and all one-dimensional characters who actually can only form an opinion of someone in terms of one dimension, and that tends to be a bad dimension. I'll give you an example. They will form a bad opinion of you and not view anything else, not think about any good qualities you have. And a manager came down to see me. This has happened twice. Manager came down to see me and said, "You've done this, that, the other." And I said, "Okay." And I said, "Thank you for that. Have I done anything right?" And she went blank and said, "I can't think of anything at the moment." And that is an example of this type of thinking, this black and white thinking. So I want to leave you with that. It's a beautiful day. It's a good day. But if you think about the concept that we're surrounded by low-grade sociopaths, a lot of things might start to make sense. Anyway, if you've got any thoughts on that, just leave me a comment. But otherwise, have a great day. Bye-bye.